This is at News for World Journalism Institute. I'm Abigail Maurer reporting from New York City. The 2012 presidential election continues to heat up with Romney securing the Republican nomination. Last night, he clinched the nomination by winning more than 100 delegates in the Texas primary. Romney says he will make the budget a priority if he is elected president.
Instead of trillion-dollar deficits that scare the dickens out of our future, I'm going to make sure that we have finally get America on track to a balanced budget. That's the only moral thing we can do.
Dr. Matt Streb from University of Illinois isn't surprised that Romney secured the Republican nomination.
There's been a sense of inevitability for well over a month now. The general election has really been in full swing. But I think, national polls and state polls show that this looks like it will be a very close, very contested race.
In other news, Italy experienced a deadly earthquake in the northern region on Tuesday. Reiner reports.
In Mirandola, Italy, the last victim of an earthquake was pulled from the rubble today, raising the death toll to 17, while the Italian government has approved measures to rebuild the devastated area. The devastation occurred after a 5.8 tremor on Tuesday that destroyed old and new buildings in the area. The buildings were already weakened by a 6.0 earthquake on May 20th that killed 7 people. Residents continued to feel tremors throughout the night, many choosing to sleep in tents outside rather than trust their homes to remain standing. Ann Reiner, WJI News.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee is underway today in Maryland. This year's participants range in age from 6 to 15 years old. Kirsten Richardson reports on one little girl who has her eyes on the prize.
Anticipating the Scripps National Spelling Bee, 6-year-old Lorianne Madison will be the youngest ever participant. Hailing from McLean, Virginia, energetic, adventurous, and accomplished, Lorianne does more than spell. Reading since before she turned 2 and an excellent swimmer, Lorianne has grand goals for her future.
Biologist because I like astronomy and biology. I also am aiming to be in the swimming part of the Olympics.
When Lorianne's mother wanted to place her in a school for gifted children, the headmaster would not enroll her. Mrs. Madison was told the only option for her child prodigy was to homeschool. Not expected to make it far in the National Spelling Bee, Lorianne continues to impress as she is still in the prestigious competition. This is Kirsten Richardson reporting.
Syria is facing a human rights crisis this week. Kirsten Richardson reports.
13 hand-bound corpses discovered by UN observers attest to the brutal massacre of more than 100 Syrian villagers. Head wounds show some had been shot at close range. Governments from around the world are responding to the horrific attack by expelling Syrian diplomats from their countries. Among these countries is the United States, who on Tuesday ordered Syrian diplomats to leave. Contrary to the methods used in Libya, the White House does not plan to take military action against Syria. The Pentagon is in agreement, anticipating humanitarian aid as the most immediate necessary need. White House Press Secretary Jay Catney responds to the actions of the Syrian government.
This weekend's massacre is a horrifying testament to this regime's depravity.
Romney, who is running opposite President Obama in the upcoming election, believes the best plan would be to help the fight from within by providing firearms for the rebels. Needless to say, this most recent attack is not being reacted to as it might have in the past. This is Kirsten Richardson reporting from WJI.
A Liberian political leader begins a prison sentence this week after facing trial. Ann Reiner reports.
Justice is served today for the trafficking of blood diamonds. Former Liberian President Charles Taylor was sentenced to 50 years in prison Wednesday by Judge Richard Lussick.
Mr. Taylor, for the foregoing reasons, the trial chamber unanimously sentences you to a single term of imprisonment of 50 years for all of the counts on which you've been found guilty.
Taylor's crime is arming and supporting murderous rebels in Sierra Leone in return for wealth from blood diamonds mined by slave labor. Uba Fufoma is a victim of Sierra Leone rebels.
It gives me a little bit of sleep, and I think I can sleep more better today because there is somebody, Charles Taylor, who has been held responsible and found guilty.
This is Ann Reiner, WJI News.
Protesters in California continue to speak against the practice of foie gras.
There's no excuse for animal abuse!
Foie gras is a paste created from the fat and liver of a goose. It is considered a culinary delicacy by some and an animal cruelty by others. United for Animals spokeswoman Dana Portnoy explains the process.
They have a 10-inch metal pipe shoved down their throats up to 3 times a day, while 2 pounds of feed is pumped into their stomach. That's a third of their body weight.
California will be the first state to ban the production and sale of foie gras. The ban will be enforced on July 1st. This is news for WJI. I'm Abigail Maurer reporting from New York City.